This is the third year we've been doing this, having the first started with the breakfast legislatures, and that program has grown to dinner with the legislators now. And this is ideas to give our members an exposure to an opportunity to talk to the legislators, ask questions, find out what's going on in Springfield, how the new legislation that's being proposed, have been passed, how it's going to impact all the educators we have here, teachers, ESP members, and higher members.
Well, we're hoping to get some explanations on their voting this past couple weeks on the TRS issue. Also where their positions are on any kind of tax increase, any kind of increase in funding for public education.
Kathy Miller, and I'm a third grade teacher at Carl Sandburg School in Charleston, Illinois. Right now we're facing some serious cuts in the future, and we're worried about losing essential programs that really mean a lot to the community and to the children and the families that are living in the Charleston area.
If you were standing at the front of the room inviting all your friends here to do something, what would you invite them to do?
I would say participate and make sure that you're informed, because changes can happen overnight, as we're finding out right now. Sometimes some scary changes, and it can affect the rest of your life as a teacher, and if you're also a paraprofessional, as we're finding out in our district as well. So we're very concerned.
If you were to ask a question of the legislators, what would you want to ask?
Probably just what they're planning on doing to help pay the schools back, and how to get things back on track and where they're supposed to be for education. I mean, because it's not right that they owe us like a ton of money, where a lot of schools are having to cut programs, because it's not fair to the students and the education program.
What do you attribute the large turnout to this year?
I think finally it's beginning to hit home that there really is a funding crisis in this state. I'm not sure how much the change in the pension law that occurred a few weeks ago has had an effect on this turnout, but I think there's just a growing sense of political awareness and the realization that it's the people in Springfield who really have an effect on the daily lives of people in education.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to our third annual IEA event, hosted by Regions 3 and 7 out of the Effingham office.
I believe that we are in our current situation because of the failure to set priorities. For those priorities that have been set, they've been the wrong ones. An unwillingness to live within our means, and now in economic decline. Those are the four, to me, those are the four issues that have come together to put us in the position that we are in.
House Bill 174. Do you support this bill? And the reasons why you support it, one of the reasons why you cannot support it. And I'm going to give you 1 minute.
House Bill 174, I think, in term form, doesn't address revenue in the way that we need to address revenue. I'm not saying we don't need to address revenue at some point or another. I don't think that bill is the proper bill.
My committee in education, I argued against it. I voted against it on the floor. I would vote against it today. It is not the solution. The corporate tax does not go up that much. That's not where the money is in this state. Small business is what fuels this state. They are S corps. They are taxed on an individual basis. You're raising the taxes on 80% of small business.
Recently, the governor had a proposal, budget proposal calls for a 1% increase in personal and corporate income taxes. Could you support that? Why or why not?
I voted for tax increases for education before. I came into the General Assembly in September of 1997 and turned around 2 months later and voted for Jim Edgar's compromise education funding plan that raised a whole host of taxes, increased the foundation level for schools. So I've been down that road before. The difference between then and now is that, and maybe some in here would disagree, but I think most of us would agree that back then we had a feeling that someone had their hands on the steering wheel.
Tell me, what are your reactions so far to listening to your local legislators?
That's what I expected.
In what way?
It's a big argument, and not happy with it, but with either side, really.
You see any solutions coming up?
I hope.
Tell me your reactions a little bit so far to what you're hearing from your state legislators?
As far as the taxes and the House bills going through now, it sounds rather negative on those parts. We're a small school. We do not have a lot of the luxuries, that a lot of the bigger schools have. Things that people take for granted, we really have to strive for. We're doing okay, but we're trying to hold our own and just stay afloat. So my superintendent did come with me today and his family, so I thought that was a very good step.
We're not wanting excuses anymore. We want you to work and get things done. Things have got to be fixed. We can't let this drag on and go along party lines and find a way to work together.